In the heart of a vast, sun-drenched savanna, where acacia trees dotted the landscape like giant umbrellas, lived a wise old elephant named Elara. Her skin was a roadmap of wrinkles, each line telling a story of seasons past, droughts endured, and wisdom gained. Elara was respected by all the animals, not just for her immense size and strength, but for her calm demeanor and sharp mind. She had seen more moons than any other creature in the savanna, and her memory was as long as the river that snaked through their land. Not far from Elara's favorite baobab tree, in a den hidden among rocky outcrops, lived a hyena named Zev. Zev was young, brash, and believed he was the cleverest animal around. He spent his days and nights scheming, always looking for a shortcut to a full belly. He saw the other animals working together, following the unwritten laws of the savanna, and he scoffed. Why follow rules when you could trick your way to the top? His cackling laugh often echoed across the plains, but it was a laugh of arrogance, not joy. One year, the rains were late. The usually lush grasslands turned a pale, brittle yellow. The river shrank to a muddy trickle, and the waterholes began to disappear one by one. Hunger and thirst became the new rulers of the savanna. The animals grew thin and weary. The usual harmony was replaced by a tense, anxious silence. Elara, with her long memory, knew this was one of the worst droughts in decades. She watched the herds of zebras and wildebeest moving further and further away, searching for any patch of green. She knew that soon there would be nothing left. But Elara also remembered something else. A story passed down through generations of elephants, a legend of a hidden spring, a place called the Sunken Oasis. It was said to be a spring that never ran dry, tucked away in a secret valley, shielded from the sun's harshest rays. Gathering the remaining animals, from the towering giraffes to the tiny meerkats, Elara shared her plan. She said, "I remember a story of a hidden spring. The journey will be long and difficult, and I am old, but I believe I can find the way. We must go together, and we must help each other. The strong will help the weak, and no one will be left behind." The animals, desperate and hopeful, agreed. A great, slow-moving procession began to form. A living arc moving across the parched earth, with Elara at its head. Zev the hyena watched this from a distance, a sneer on his face. "Fools," he muttered to himself, "following an old elephant on a quest for a fairy tale spring. I am much smarter than that." Zev had his own plan. He would stay behind and pick off the weak and the sick animals who couldn't make the journey. It was easy prey, a feast waiting just for him. He imagined himself growing fat and strong, while everyone else wasted away on their hopeless march. The first few days of the journey were brutal. The sun beat down relentlessly. The dust got into everyone's eyes and lungs. Several older gazelles faltered, their legs trembling with exhaustion. But just as Elara had promised, the stronger animals helped. The buffaloes formed a protective circle around the weaker ones at night, and the giraffes used their height to spot the safest paths ahead. Elara herself would often use her trunk to gently nudge and encourage those who were about to give up. They shared what little food and water they could find. A berry here, a root there. Meanwhile, Zev was living his version of paradise. He found a small antelope, too weak to follow its herd, and had a satisfying meal. "See?" he cackled to the empty savanna. "This is true cleverness. No long journey for me. The food comes to me." He spent his days napping in the shade, confident in his superior intellect. Days turned into a week, and Elara's caravan pressed on. They crossed a vast, cracked salt pan that shimmered with heat. Their hope began to dwindle. Had Elara been wrong? Was this all for nothing? Even Elara felt a pang of doubt, her old bones aching with every step. But she looked back at the faces of the animals following her, their eyes filled with trust, and she knew she could not give up. She focused on her memory, on the landmarks from the ancient story. a trio of leaning rock towers, a canyon shaped like a sleeping serpent. One evening, as the sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Elara stopped. She lifted her trunk and sniffed the air. A faint, almost imperceptible scent reached her. It was the smell of damp earth and green things. "We are close," she trumpeted, her voice filled with a renewed strength that energized the entire group. Following the scent, they navigated a narrow, winding canyon. And then they saw it. Nestled in a deep valley, hidden from the world, was the sunken oasis. A crystal-clear spring bubbled up from the ground, feeding a small, deep lake surrounded by lush, green vegetation. It was more beautiful than any of them had ever imagined. A cheer went up from the exhausted animals, a sound of pure, unadulterated joy. They drank the cool, clean water and ate the fresh leaves, their strength slowly returning. They had made it, together. Back on the plains, Zev's paradise was crumbling. The easy prey was gone. The few animals left were either too strong for him to tackle alone or had hidden themselves away. His belly, once full, was now painfully empty. The water holes he relied on were now just cracked mud. He grew gaunt and weak, his fur matted with dust. The arrogance in his eyes was replaced by a desperate, gnawing hunger. His cackling laughter was long gone, replaced by a pathetic whimper. Driven by a thirst he could no longer ignore, he began to wander aimlessly. He was so weak, he could barely put one paw in front of the other. He stumbled through the same rocky canyon the caravan had passed through, not knowing where he was going, only driven by a primal need for water. He stumbled into the valley and saw the oasis. He saw the animals, now healthy and content, living peacefully by the water. He saw Elara standing serenely by the lake. His first instinct was to rush to the water, but his legs gave out and he collapsed. A young gazelle spotted him and called out in alarm. The animals turned, their eyes falling on the pathetic form of Zev. Some of them growled, remembering his arrogance and selfishness. "He deserves this," muttered a warthog. "He laughed at us. He would have let us all perish." But Elara walked slowly towards the collapsed hyena. She looked down at Zev, not with anger or contempt, but with a deep, ancient pity. Zev looked up at her, expecting a final, crushing blow. He had mocked her, and now he was completely at her mercy. But Elara simply dipped her trunk into the cool water of the spring and gently sprayed a life-giving stream over Zev's dry, cracked muzzle. Zev lapped at the water weakly, his eyes wide with disbelief. When he had drunk his fill, Elara spoke, her voice calm and steady. "True wisdom, Zev, is not about finding the easiest path for yourself. It is about understanding that we are all connected, like the roots of the great baobab. A single strong root cannot hold up the tree alone. Your cleverness only served to isolate you, and in the end, it was your undoing. Survival is not a trick. It is an act of community." Zev had no words. He lay there, humbled, as the other animals watched. He finally understood. His selfish schemes had brought him nothing but ruin, while the cooperation and sacrifice of the group had led them all to salvation. From that day on, Zev was a changed hyena. He stayed at the sunken oasis, but he no longer schemed. He learned to contribute, using his speed to scout for the group and his sharp ears to listen for danger. His laugh returned, but this time it was a genuine sound, one that mingled with the happy noises of the thriving community. And the story of the wise elephant and the foolish hyena became a new legend in the savannah, a tale told to the young ones, reminding them that the greatest strength is found not in being the cleverest, but in being together. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the animal kingdom.